Yeah, good evening, everyone. I think we have more than 150 registration, Joe. Maybe all of your friends and your students and all attended.
Yeah.
For me also, I think we met when after my workshop, we had been to traveling Ethiopia, Masai Mara, so many places. I am also looking forward to the pictures. Yes. Okay, guys, I think it's 5 o'clock. We can start now. We will wait 1 or 2 minutes. All are in. Good evening, everyone. Yeah, hope everyone is fine and safe. Thank you for joining today. This season, I think everyone was asking. Last season, we had a lot of seminar webinars and talk sessions. And this lockdown, I was bombarded with questions. Madam, are you going to start any webinars and all? So finally, now the metro cities and other places, the lockdown is eased down. And we also little bit, it was tense. It was a very tough time, Joe. For everyone, it's everywhere it's a corona case and all, no? So not in a mood to have a session and all, but now it's better, things are better. So we started last week, it was great response. We had Mr. Guru Prabhu Desai with his wildlife photography session. It was very successful. We had a lot of messages, good appreciation messages received. And today, I would like to introduce Mr. Dr. Joe Varghese. He is practicing 30 years orthodontist. He is a #1 orthodontist in India. He is practicing India also, and I think Oman. A very busy person. And he is into wildlife photography, especially birding also. Few years back, he came to my masterclass workshop. So after that, we become friends also, and he is traveling more than Ethiopia, Masai Mara, other countries also, left and right, he is traveling. So I thought every time we are inviting top photographers, people are who into full-time photography. But this season, we will start with people who are doing passionately, doing along with the regular jobs. Okay, let them hear wildlife stories from their point of view also, because we always, like me, photographers always we are going to the parks, national parks and all. It's our way of life. But someone who is doing busy schedule as a doctor, Mr. Dr. Joe, so we are going to hear his perspective, his experience. So be open and enjoy. I think he is a good orator. We are going to enjoy session. Please, Joe, the session is yours. Webinar is yours. Please carry on.
Thank you.
And I would like to tell one thing, guys. If you have any questions, we will be finishing 5:40 talk. After that, you can type your questions or you can raise your hand. You can ask directly Joe, and for me also. Please have a nice time. Enjoy the session. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
Start your PPT also. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Great. It's really great to be here and share my work. Of course, thank you, Rathika ji, for having me. It is really a pleasure to be here today and show you some of my work. Yes, I am an orthodontist by profession. I have been in practice in Cochin for the past 32 years. About 9 years back, I started taking up wildlife photography. Of course, being a dentist isn't stressful at all. You know, you can see how much, how we look, and I think that says it all, that it isn't really very stressful. But my son, I have 2 sons. My older son was saying that, Papa, you are too much into your profession. You need to have something which will also give you a lot of pleasure. So I happened to start taking photographs of birds and somehow got into this. I believe that every photographer's journey is different. And I want to share with you some of the things I have been going through to encourage you to try these things. And I have kept on looking at the work of other photographers. When I look at the work of other photographers, I assess each photo, think about what I like about it, what I don't like about it, and how it could have been better. That will help you visualize the shot when you're shooting in the field. And you know, you learn various techniques. People teach you a lot of things. They tell you so many things. and you have to adopt that, adapt it to your style, and then how you can improve on that, and keep on improvising and changing. Follow your instincts and see where it leads you. And one of the most important things is to devote significant time to your hobby or profession, which is photography, in a consistent manner. You can't just, do it once in a while. But to be a really good one, it's challenging. You have to keep taking photographs. It's like, manual shift cars. So you have to keep on learning and not forgetting how to shift the thing. If you keep on doing auto shift, you don't have that excitement. So I am going to share with you my journey so far. So every photographer has to have basic photographic equipment. So I'm just going to list those things out, which some people do not realize, because I think this is for a very big audience, not just for professional photographers, but also amateurs and people who are thinking about getting into photography, bird photography, for example. So of course you need a camera body, you need a lens. So most of the camera bodies and lenses are detachable from each other, so you can change the lenses. You need a carry bag, and to carry all this in, you need a good tripod, and if possible a monopod also, depending on the situation. I have both a tripod and a monopod, depending on how far I have to carry it and everything. And one of the things about being in Cochin especially is that the climate is very humid. So I discovered that this equipment is quite expensive, and to keep it from growing fungus, you have to keep it in a dry cabinet. Of course, dry cabinets look like a refrigerator. You have to buy a dry cabinet which will fit all your equipment and keep it in that, so that the humidity is kept very low and no fungus will grow on it. You need to have a good computer and software to edit and process your pictures. One of the first things that my mentor Rathika ji told me is, you just have to buy the annual subscription to Adobe Photoshop or Adobe, so that eventually you get used to it, and over the time you will learn to process your pictures a lot better. Of course, you need to have special clothes for it. Clothes should be neutral in color. You can't just use your normal clothes and go into the jungle. But the intangibles are that time, the time that you have to invest in your hobby or profession. It is not a cheap hobby or profession. It requires quite a bit of money. Photographic equipment and all these other things that I told you about involves quite a significant amount of money, and also the money that you have to spend to travel, and the learning which comes from it, sharing, talking to people about how you edit your software and learn about it. One of the most important things I believe for all of us is to learn to enjoy nature. Even if you don't get the shot or you're not able to find the bird, just being in the forest, being in the middle of nature, breathing the clean air and sitting there itself, you can see that I am smiling because I am in my environment, my happy place. So you have to learn to go and enjoy the environment that you're going to be in. If you don't enjoy being in the forest, you're not going to be really genuinely happy with the photographs that you get. So here on the right, I'm walking with quite a lot of equipment, my tripod on my shoulder, and the camera bag is there again on my back, walking back from the shoot. I got into this a while back, and Rathika ji, of course, is my mentor. After I got into bird photography, I learned that she was conducting these workshops in Bharatpur. So I attended one, and it was in the year 2015, I think. And this is a group of friends who were all attending that. It was a very special time for all of us to attend that masterclass. This is a picture Rathika ji took of me when I was shooting in Bharatpur, and it is a photo that I treasure very much. This is the group of my first batch. We still remain in touch, and I try to keep going back to the Kevladev National Park in Bharatpur, where it all started, because it is very dear to me. And this is, of course, the scenery of Bharatpur. I was there this January. Actually, this was taken on January 26th or 27th when I was there. and you have to hire a rickshawala who will keep your, all the equipment here, and your food and everything kept underneath, and your tripod and all that, and go around. It is such a very happy experience to be in Bharatpur and seeing all the hundreds and thousands of birds over there and keep shooting. You will never come away from Bharatpur, any trip in Bharatpur, no matter what time of the year you go, disappointed for not having got some good pictures. You cannot talk about bird photography without showing a picture of Salim Ali, who is, of course, the father of bird photography as far as Indians are concerned. And he passed away in 1987. Near my home of Cochin, about 2 hours drive away, I'm fortunate that the Salim Ali Bird Sanctuary is there in Tattekad, and it's only a 2-hour drive away, and I try to go there at least once a year, sometimes even twice a year. Some of the guides call me if there is a good sighting and I'm able to get there fast enough to, shoot some birds. These are all basic things. I stay in Cochin city and in a place called Vaitla, one of the suburbs. And here we have more than 70 species. And at home, I have a nice garden, and I've set up special plants which attract these birds. And I have actually managed to photograph 51 species of birds over there. Some are residents and some are migratory. This I will start by showing you some of the pictures I shot at home. This was shot at home. The papaya tree was there, and I didn't allow my wife or anybody to pick the papayas. I wanted to attract the birds to come in, and of course you can see the white-cheeked barbet. And here on the right you can see the white-cheeked barbet is there, and woodpecker has come to ask the barbet whether we can share. Of course, the woodpecker went away and came back with its mate, and sometimes we get nice pictures like this right at home with a nice background that we were able to find, the green that Kerala is very well known for. This is also just in my house in the garden. We have these plants, a lot of them, and the lotus sunbirds love the nectar of these flowers, and they come, and it's almost like a studio. I love to sit there and watch these birds come and drink the nectar. If any of you come to Cochin and want to shoot these birds, you can definitely get 100% these birds.
Next time, Joe. Next time we will be coming. Your own
when you see the
birds sensory, yeah.
So what I wanted to share with you is you grow and change as a photographer. It is a journey, and you get getting better. Some things which interest you before will not interest you later, and you find newer things to do. So you don't want to have the bird sitting there like that. You want it to be doing something. So the female was drinking from one of the flowers in my garden. So I waited and waited and waited. After about 3 hours, the female came again, and I got this shot, which I had envisioned in my mind. And you can see the plants behind, which have given this interesting background in the back. So we don't want to see, even though this is also again at home, you don't want to see the bird just perched there. You want to, you want to see it doing something. So it went to the hibiscus plant in the front of my house, and it was drinking. The bird usually drinks from the top, but sometimes it pierces the flower from the bottom. And this is what this male purple-rumped sunbird is doing. So it's very, very interesting shot because it's an action shot, something which it is actually doing. So we don't want to have the egret just sitting there. We want to sit. We want to give it the sense of motion, the sense of just taking off and flying. So you have to be ready for the shot. Wait till the bird is comfortable, and then eventually the bird will take off. And so
that is
be ready and take the nice picture.
You know, Joe, sorry to interrupt.
Yes,
that is the accent.
You're the mentor. Yes,
you
kept saying, don't take pictures of birds with birds. Don't take pictures of bird like this on the perch. Of course, this is a white
for the documentation, but accent next.
So you wait for the bird to get comfortable to your presence. And then after a while, this bird, okay, first it was a little bit disturbed watching if we are going to disturb it. Then it saw that we are not going to do anything to it. Then it became comfortable, and then it was stretching its wings. And look at the pose that it has given me. This is the really remarkable shot that I have. You know, I was very happy that it just took that much comfort to just stretch its wings. And then, of course, it took off. Boom. And I was ready to have that picture. So you don't want the perch picture of the Brahmini kite like this. You want it to do something, even if it is scratching its nose or whatever. That interest which comes in the photograph is what we want. We don't want the pond heron just to stand like that, even though it might be in breeding plumage as on the left, but we want it to be catching some fish. So here it obliged and it jumped in there and caught a fish, and I was able to get this. So what I'm trying to say is, in the beginning, we're happy to get, all these species, good pictures on the perch. But then later on, you realize that's not exactly very exciting. You want to have some sort of activity, some sort of motion in the picture of the same bird, which might be a boring one like this pond heron, but once it's got this worm and it's just pulled it out of the water and the water is spraying all around, that is the beauty of this picture. Again, sometimes they catch it and they go to the shore to try to eat it in peace, and you can see the tip of the beak coming out through the other end of the fish. That is what you want to see. One of the most popular places, of course, is the Little Run of Kutch, where many of us have been to. It's a very, very flat land like this. Then we find the Sakar falcon. And last time I went there, I was fortunate to get very good shots of the Merlin. I had not even heard of this bird until I got there.
You are lucky, Joe. Merlin is also one of the rare sighting in LRK.
Right.
But they do visit, okay? It's one of the pretty birds of prey. And
yes.
You got lucky, you got both Sakar and Merlin. Super.
Yeah, very, very beautiful bird it is. This Merlin posed for us. Now, of course, Little Run of Kutch is home to the Indian Wild Ass Sanctuary. I have some friends in the US, and when they say, you have Indian wild ass, I've heard of American asses and wild, some of them are pretty wild. We didn't have wild asses. So we said we have a sanctuary for them in Gujarat. So I wanted to show you a picture of 3 asses shooting some asses. So these are friends of mine, and this is me lying flat down. A friend of mine is standing and shooting. My other friend is sitting, and Rathika ji always says, go to eye level and try to get a different shot.
First time I asked you to lie down, no? You are a little bit hesitant first time. Then after getting the shot, you realize the ground level photography.
Yes. So this year there was some dung from cows and all that, so I wanted to lie flat down. So I would lay on my back and put the camera on my chest. And I want to show you the 3 pictures. I'm using them with the permission of my friends. So this is the first picture that my friend who's standing took. So you can see the sun is setting and the asses are, grazing over there. It's a very nice picture, very well balanced out. But this is the second picture which my friend who's sitting shot. So you can see that the sun is closer to the wild ass and to the shrubs and all that. A slightly different perspective, but it is also a little bit better if you ask in perspective than this. And my shot, okay, because I was lying down like this, I positioned myself so that the sun would come and just over the ass, and this perspective of being at the eye level of the ass, I think made a big difference. I think this is a really nice shot for me. So we were in Alleppey and we were going to this beach when we had gone to this beach when this Wimbrels had come, and so here I was going on my elbows and slowly coming forward, creeping on the sand to get the shot, and my friend who was shooting from the other side shot a picture of the bird and me. So what is the shot that I got, after all this effort to come to a eye level on this, and this is the shot that I got. Wow. I think so you can see it's eye level shot. Yes. The Wimbrel is running quite fast, and its beak is caked with black sand because the Alleppey beach has got not white sand but blackish sand. So it is running. So you can see it's very clear and crisp, and the eye level shot with the beautiful background.
The beauty,
Yeah, that is what makes the difference that you have. So I have been quite to a lot of countries all over the world. And from Kenya, a lot of people go to Kenya to shoot only the mammals. And they were quite amused that I was not even interested in really the animals. I was looking for the birds. So
yes, you remember in Sri Lanka, Yala, everyone is going for leopard. We want to stop for all the time for birds, no?
Yes, right.
That is it happened with a bird photographer.
Yes, of course. So you have to give time for the bird to get comfortable to the presence. Okay, this is just a Kori basket. It was just walking around. So they were said, okay, you've taken the shot, let's go. I said, hold on, I just wait 5-10 minutes. And then they said, okay, let's go. I said, no, wait. And then the bird sat like this and puffed up this is the same bird, okay, exact same bird. And it sat and puffed up its feathers. And then we knew it was going to make the call to, attract the female. And so then, what happened? It raised its tail, and now you see the first picture and the actual picture that I got. It looked almost as if they are two different ones, but the dynamism, some action going on there, and it's calling for its mate, showing all its beauty. That is what has made this picture a very special one for me. Of course, we have to lie down like this with sandbags if we have, and I chose a little mold over here. This is also in Kenya, and you get eye-level shots at the water level of the flamingos over there, and the blue background of the far shore over there. So to get this type of shot, if you were standing, you would not get that nice view. So you have to be at the eye level. Rathika ji always was insisting, go to eye level, go to eye level, go to eye level. Yeah. And sometimes when I go with other photographers, the bird is perched up there on the tree. And I look at it and say, I don't want to shoot. I don't want to shoot the butt of the bird. I want to go up there or make the bird come down.
Yeah, that's the only tip usually I will tell everyone. See, if the bird is on top, if you are not getting good shot, leave it.
Yes.
Okay, there is no, of course, for the documentation you can take, but just leave it. When you are getting good shot, eye level, and with good lighting, then you take. Otherwise, don't shoot at all. My suggestion is like that only.
Yes, unless it's a rare bird that you want to just document that actually you have at least got one picture of it. Otherwise, leave it. This is in Indutu, Tanzania. We were staying in this tented camp, and in the morning we were about to leave, and the guy came and said, "Come, running!" And then we found these two lionesses on the hunt. Okay, so we were standing there and shooting over here. We were very scared because they are wild animals. Then we got into the jeep, the safari vehicle, and we were about to leave. And then the lioness came out of the brush, and you can see the intense look on the eye, which I was able to capture, and the thorny bush which came behind it. I think increased the impact of the picture. I have been to Ethiopia. Now, Ethiopia is a beautiful country for birding. I would encourage any of you who would like to go there to go to Ethiopia. There are so many endemic species there that is not seen in any other country in the world. And it is a country in which the population, the locals, they don't bother with the birds. They don't disturb them. So the birds are very comfortable and they allow you to come very, very close. You can see the ibis over here, the stork over here. All of them are so comfortable. They don't even bother. I went there with my friend Michael. And his wife is there on the background, Surita, and it was quite cold. Some of the places were very cold. This was a trip we made in December 2019. And the scenery of Ethiopia is beautiful. And we went around in this vehicle throughout the 7-8 days that we were there. And this is our guide. And we were there in this vehicle. Beautiful trip it was. And in Ethiopia, I shot some of the pictures. I'm going to show you some of my pictures from Ethiopia. These small kingfishers, about the size of the common kingfisher, and they are much more brightly colored. If you can think that anybody can be brightly colored than that. These are malachite kingfishers, and of course, mating ritual. It has got a fish. The male has got a fish and giving it to the female, and it was sitting on a sunken boat there. And these are malachite kingfishers. One of the rare birds over there, which is endemic, is the mountain wagtail. So just like the other wagtail, the shape is slightly different, but the tail goes up and down like most of the other wagtails. The woodland kingfisher, which is very unique to that, with this bright red beak and white body, and this light shade of blue is very, very beautiful. This owl is also endemic over there, and we were able to get almost eye-level shots of this owl. And there I shot this African dusky flycatcher. This picture is somehow very, very special to me. You know why? I have shot a lot of flycatchers, Asian paradise flycatcher, so many different types of flycatchers, but I have never been able to catch a flycatcher with a fly in its mouth. And so the first time this flycatcher went and caught a fly and sat there for just a second before it went, it swallowed it. It went into its mouth. But I was able to get this beautiful shot with, you can see the clarity of the fly also, the house fly, which is there sitting there. So it's a very, very special picture for me. These silvery-cheeked hornbills during that time were going through this mating and pairing ritual that they were going. There were about 60 to 80 of them flying around and trying to pair with each other, and they were eating from this fig tree. So the male had picked this and was feeding it to the female. And one of the things is, even if the fig is not there, they were, locking bills, like this without any figs. So these are, I would like to call them kissing. You can see the silvery cheeks hornbills kissing. So I'm sure all of you have heard of flying kisses. Some of you might have tried to give flying kisses.
Actually, the hornbills, Joe, usually they have these on-air feeding rituals.
Right.
Almost all the family of hornbills, they do, like even Indian hornbills also, in the Oriental hornbill also, everyone is there on-air feeding habit. Rituals
So,
there.
again, see, you can see, so this is what I call the flying kiss, So these two birds had locked their horn, their bills, and so this is what I call the real flying kiss. Most of the most of us give only virtual flying kisses, but this is the real flying kiss. Both birds are in flying. One of the last countries that I have visited for bird photography before the lockdown, it was in March last year that I went to Costa Rica. Costa Rica, of course, is a paradise for birds. The number of bird species over there and the way that things happen. Now, Ethiopia, there is no hides. It is all birds which are shot completely in the wild. There is no feeding, nothing. But the birds are friendly and they let you come closer just because the locals do not bother them. And so they are not really frightened of humans. But in Costa Rica, it's a different scene because most of the birds are shot from hides and there is feeding going on there. So you have toucans like this beautiful keel-billed toucan and the white-throated toucans which come there. These are toucanettes, two different types of toucanettes. I'm going to just share with you some of the nice pictures that I've got. And we were going around, like 8 of us were going around in this bus. And we saw this bird, and so we were worried it will fly off. And so my friend got his big tripod, and other friend was Michael standing here, and we were putting our big guns on his shoulders and trying to shoot. And what were we shooting? We were shooting one rare bird called the bat falcon, which was perched over there, and it was sitting there. And we got quite good shots of the bat falcon, quite a rare bird. Of course, the woodpeckers are completely different from what we find here. It's a Central American country. So just two of the, I think we shot about 6 or 7 types of woodpeckers. And we shot 2 different types of vultures. This is the king vulture. Again, like Rathika ji taught us, we don't want to take the woodpecker the vulture just sitting there on the perch. We want it to be doing something. So I was waiting and waiting and waiting, and then it decided to pounce on something which it saw on the ground. And then this is the more dramatic picture that you can see, which I think is a much more pleasing image. This is a common crow-sized bird over there and called the Montezuma oropendola. I got a very funny name for a funny bird, which looks quite funny. Now, again, we don't want to see the bird sitting there. I noticed that these two birds were getting into an argument, and so this is a series of pictures that I got. So they were kind of starting this argument, and after a while, they started fighting. And so you can see the kung fu kick that one was trying to land on the other. And so I called this the kung fu trained Montezuma oropendola. You can see the motion in the picture and how the other one is trying to fall back and avoid the kick that this one was trying to give it. Again, these brown-headed parrots are very common over there. And we don't want it, even though the background is good and the bird is giving a nice pose, this is not an exciting picture. We want to see at least the bird flying. And then you can see that the underwing area is bright red. So the same type of bird is flying. This is the type of motion that we want. But it would be even better if 2 birds were sitting there and, trying to preen each other or, something, talk to each other.
Some interaction.
Yes, exactly.
We always want some accent, some interaction with
Yes, exactly. And this is also another bird that you find there, which is called the southern crested caracara. It also belongs to the vulture family. And this is the black vulture that we found there, very ugly looking birds. And I was trying to find a way to make it look a little more attractive. Then these two birds came and they posed like this. So I thought, okay, this is a very interesting pose that they gave me on this mound over there. And so I got this. Feathers and all are very dark with all sorts of dirt on them. And this is another bird, the male on the left and the female on the right. Mask, the titira it's called, because it looks like it's wearing a mask. Here, the female is not as attractive as the male, as you can see. And this is one bird which almost everybody who goes to Costa Rica tries to photograph. They have a very interesting mating ritual. They keep jumping up and down. So I have a video of it going up and down, one after the other. And the female, which is actually green in color, comes and perches over there and watches them doing all the circus. And so these are the long-tailed mannequins, the male ones, which have this red, interesting black cap on its head. And this is another type of mannequin, which is a red-capped mannequin, which is also found in Costa Rica. We were able to get good shots of this bird, but it was perched in very low light area, but it was not moving. So we could put it on a tripod and go for long exposure, relatively long exposure to get clear shots. They are birds. This belongs to cuckoo family. The birds are totally different. This belongs to a cuckoo family. And it's called an Annie. And so this is called a groove-billed Annie because the bill has got grooves in it. And so very interesting bird. And these are called tanagers. There are so many different types of tanagers, which is a little bit bigger than the, it is like the size of our robin, and the male on the left and the female on the right. Of course, this is not a very exciting picture because both are just sitting there perched. And this is, of course, a much more exciting picture. I wonder what the female did to make the male did to make the female so angry. It is bullying the male.
So what are different colors? No, male and female are completely different colors. Joe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Looks like different species. Yeah.
Yeah, and the interaction that you can see, the female is obviously quite mad at the male, and the male is saying, hey, I didn't do anything, I'm so innocent. Look at him.
The body language is also, you can see, it was going low, okay, yeah.
That's what makes the picture, more interesting rather than the perched picture. It is very important. So, of course, in the Americas, North America, South America, and Central America, you have hummingbirds because we don't have sunbirds over there. We have hummingbirds. They are very, very different from sunbirds. So this is one of the most common sunbird there. We don't want to see it perched there. They look nice perched, but we want to have flying shots. Now, these birds hover and they go, the beating of the wings is so fast. And so, you need very, very sharp or high level shutter speed to get a frozen image of the wings. So it's a lot of trial and error to get some shots. So I want to share with you, many of you have not seen a lot of hummingbirds. So I want to show you with you some of my hummingbird flying pictures as well as perch pictures. Again, here it is moving very fast, but it had good lighting. So I was able to increase the shutter speed to such a high level that I was able to get a pretty good freeze on the wing. Some people like it like this. Some people like it like this on the right. Here it is more frozen. Here it gives a more feeling of motion. So that's what I said. A lot of personal choice comes into the whole thing, and these are all natural flowers. Okay, they are not, artificial flowers. So a bird which is sitting there perched is only so exciting, and I got a picture of this bird just in the split second that it was just taking off. And then these are all the different several types of hummingbirds drinking from the flower, and it's
very beautiful. Joe, sorry to interrupt you. Did you use flash for these images?
No, none of these pictures. They were all taken using natural light, no flashes.
Usually they use flashes. Yeah, they're very fast.
Yes. Some places have got this flash setup so that you can get better freeze. But all these pictures were taken only with natural light. Even this one, the sun was falling on this bird, and I was able to get this shot of this hummingbird with only natural light, no flash. This also, all these are with natural light only. So it was quite a different type of look that I was on different types of hummingbirds. I will just go on. The same bird in a different, just about to take off. You can see it spread its wings and you can see how it looks. The wing has got the connection. So again, flying birds. And the bird, if it tilts its neck in a different way, these colors come out. Otherwise, it just looks this plain light green. So you can see this red only when it's shifting it to the other side. One of the target birds that we get there, everybody wants to shoot, is the resplendent quetzal. This is the perched picture of the male. And this is a perched picture of the female. They find, the guides find the nest of the bird, and then we go and sit in hide very close to that one. And then the bird comes there and then goes to the nest and feeds it, and then comes out. Here the female has just come with something to feed it. And this one is the picture of the resplendent quetzal male going into the hole was over here on this bark, this tree, and it was just approaching it, and you can see it's just going into this thing, and it's got a berry or something in its mouth to feed the young one. So some of the just want to conclude, coming to the end of my talk, show you what I consider my 3 best wildlife photographs so far. This picture is very good because those brown-headed parrots were fighting against each other for dominance or whatever, and I was able to catch this motion, and the beautiful colors of these birds has come out, almost a full-frame picture. And this is another one. This was taken in Medique, South Africa, and it was almost dusk. It was sun was setting here. This was a mountain over here. You can see the corner over here, and the sun was over here, and they were all running to the water hole, which was on the right. And the little one was running very fast ahead of the rest of the herd. And the second biggest one was over here. And the second biggest one was pushing this one over here. And we have this dramatic dry tree in the middle. So I like the composition of that picture. So this is another picture. That
lighting also.
Yeah, the lions which are fighting in Medique. This is also a full frame picture. I have cropped out a tiny bit, maybe 5% of the upper left side, but otherwise this is the picture that I took. I want to just share with you how fast these pictures are taken. We were in an open jeep like this, and here you can see this is of another jeep which was close by. You can see the lions were sleeping here, and so now I will just share the video of what happened over there. So just bear with me while I start it. Wait 1 minute. Yeah, you share. Okay, here we go. Can you see this now? Has the video come? It's not moving.
No, it's not coming. Yeah.
Rathika ji?
No, it's not coming. No problem. Just so the picture. No, next you can see we can see the picture. Maybe
I want.
because of the slow bandwidth, it may take time.
Okay. Then I will just continue with the old presentation.
Yeah. Okay, talk about the pictures itself. And we are running.
Yeah.
We will be 2 more minutes. Joe.
It happened very fast. It happened very fast, and these lions were fighting for dominance for 3 mating rights of 3 females which are there. You can see my picture now, right? The presentation is seen. This is the picture again, and these are a couple of my pictures from. This is from Kenya, and so I've come to the end of my talk, and so I'd be happy to take any questions. And
yeah, you can stop your screen sharing, Joe.
Yeah,
we'll start for Ranjani. Please carry on your questions. If you have questions, you can ask. And someone is raising hand. Let me just allow Shreya is allowed to talk. Yeah, please, Shreya. Just. Yeah, Shreya is asking.
So, do you use binoculars for like for seeing birds?
Most of these trips, we have a guide. You cannot go into such places without having a knowledgeable guide. And so the guide will have binoculars and they will spot the bird for you. Usually I don't carry binoculars, but the guide does. And they will spot the bird, they will show it to you and then figure out how you can get closer to the bird. Because viewing the bird through the binoculars, it's too far away to actually get good shots. Most of the birds are too far away. So,
yeah. And one more, Mr. Ramakrishna was from starting, he was raising hand. Please, Ramakrishna, you can ask questions to doctor.
Mr. Ramakrishnan, you need to unmute yourself.
Yeah, okay, then you can carry on from question session, Ranjani.
All right, there are a few questions. One from Mr. Murgesha Pandey. He asks, Dr. Joe, you have visited Indian wildlife sanctuaries and a lot of other sanctuaries outside country. What are the difference that you see in both on perspective of wildlife behavior, lighting, and forest official support?
Well, forest official support in India, I feel is quite good. But one of the sad things is that, especially in Costa Rica, the environment, the place is very similar to Kerala, but it is so clean. I feel very sad sometimes when I go to many of the sanctuaries here, how people are so careless and they leave so much litter around. That is and caring for the environment is, I feel, a lot better in countries even like Costa Rica, even in Ethiopia. They don't litter as much as I see in India. It's one of the main things. But support from the forest officials is very good, whether it's outside or inside. They are all looking to help the birds, and because they look at our presence as a positive thing, that we are going to, we are paying quite a lot of fees to them for actually the privilege of shooting over there. And so they look at it as a good income also. So they want to encourage more people to come.
Okay, there's another question from Murgesha Pandey. He's asking, I could see catch light in many of the pictures, doctor. Any tips also on the blurry background?
What light?
Catch light.
Catch light.
Catch light. Oh, I never use flashes for my photography. I don't use flash setups, and so all of that.
Catch light you can get when your sun is coming. Just if you wait for the head turn, you will really get the real sunlight catch light. That is a tip. You have to wait for some time. The head will be, the bird will be turning his head towards light. Then you will get a natural sunlight.
I think
it comes
a little natural to me thanks to Rathika ji's training. I attended 2 of her workshops, and I know I have been fortunate to travel with her to Yala in Sri Lanka as well as to Malaysia, Fraser's Hill with her. And in addition to that, to Satal and a few other places. And so, the experience you get from some person who's willing to teach you and share has been amazing. So I'm just showing you what I'm able to get. But the catch light, of course, I never modify any of my pictures. It is not put there artificially. It is only there by nature. It is already there in the shot. And of course, I shoot only raw. Very big image. Most of the shots are, some of the shots are more than 90 MB, 92 MB, or some of them are maybe 42, 45 MB. So it's very big files that we process and then bring it down to about 10 MB JPEG and then save it like that after post-processing.
Perfect. Suhasini is asking, how do you pre-visualize the direction in which the bird would fly?
It's very, very unpredictable bird. That's what's exciting about the unpredictability is, is what you see. But I think if you keep observing the bird, the way it is facing, then you can, try to visualize where it's going to fly. It is very unpredictable. Sometimes, most of the time, it just flies away from you because it's your disturbed.
Actually, yeah, I would like to share one tip. The flight, you can see the wind blow, which side it's going. Okay, so usually they need to take off. They need wind which direction the wind is flowing. So you can little bit guess also. If it's from left to right, then the birds will take off from left to right. From the wind blow, you can just guess. The big cranes and all.
It gets it that speed.
Right. So Lakshmi is asking, how do you decide about destination for birding? How would you decide?
Oh, sometimes I have time and not doing much. So of course, Google and looking at various groups all over the world. I like to try different places which nobody has been before. So that's how I discovered Ethiopia. I was thinking about Eastern Europe also, but I have not yet been there. That is one of the destinations that I want to go. After going to Kenya and Tanzania, Kenya, I found out that Ethiopia is a very good place because the Sahara Desert is there, and only the Horn of Ethiopia, Horn of Africa is there, where Ethiopia is. And so all the birds from the northern hemisphere, from Europe and all, to go to South Africa or to Kenya, they have to pass through Ethiopia. So the migratory channel is through Ethiopia. So I decided to check about Ethiopia and looked at various people. And there is a guy called Flamingo Tours that I was able to contact. Very, very reliable guy. He's a Belgian national, married to a Ethiopian lady. They've got 3 kids. And he conducts specialized tours in Ethiopia, various places. Even though he usually recommends that you go there for 2 weeks, we were able to take off only for 7 to 8 days. He lives in Ethiopia. He has been there for the past 15 years. So he knows the country in and out.
Yeah, I would like to take one question, Ranjani. Someone is asking how much shutter speed we have to keep. No, I think
Tushyanthan
Ravichandran. How it changes shutter speed, different flying birds. For small birds, you need faster shutter speed, like hummingbird and all. It may, I think sometimes it may go 1/2. If you are using flash, then 1/3000, 2000 is fine. But without flash, you have to go for 1/6. They are so tiny and they're very fast. So sometimes you have to go for 1/6000, 7000 also. ISO you have to increase. But the big flying cranes like painted stork, other pelicans and all, 1/500 to 1/1000 sometimes. Okay, it depends on the ISO. For big birds and the bird is flying towards you, then you have to increase your shutter speed. If they're coming very near, you have to freeze them. So you have to increase the shutter speed. It depends on the size of the bird and which way it's flying also. Hope I answered your questions. Oh yeah,
ma'am, I would like to point this question towards you, ma'am. How do you keep yourself motivated when we are not meeting our expectation? Puneet is asking. So when they don't meet the expectation, they would like to know how to keep themselves motivated. So I thought you were the best person to answer.
It depends on where the expectation, where it will be. Okay, it depends on your equipment, depends on where you're traveling. I think that is the question is asking. The result is different. The photograph, the way you wanted, that expectation is a wildlife. Okay, but for my suggestion tip, if you want to particular sort, okay, for example, for me, Sarus crane dancing shot. When I started initially, that is my expectation, dancing Sarus crane. But the first time I got behind the bush, the second time I got inside the trees and all, a lot of distraction. And third time, I never expected they'll be coming very close. So I got cut. I think 4th or 5th time only I got perfect photograph. So the expectation we have to keep high. And the same thing, it depends on equipment also. If you're having 400 mm, then you can't think of taking small tiny birds, no? So it depends on what your preparation also. I hope I answered your question. That is the this is the thing he was asking. I hope.
Now I also want to add that I think something I talked about in the beginning, that you have to enjoy nature. And sometimes even if I don't get the shot, the fact that I'm just there and enjoying the feeling of being in the forest. That itself gives me a high, you know.
Yes, definitely, Joe, for everyone, people who love wildlife, nature, no, of course, you have to be very patient. Sometimes it's a wildlife. I can't say today I am going to take particular shot, Maybe if I prepare very well, I can come back with photograph. But sometimes we have to be ready to wait and enjoy the nature. That is the only way of going inside the forest and wait. Yeah, please carry on.
And another question, how much subject knowledge is important in your experience? Like, you know, how much subject knowledge is needed for birding before going to birding?
When you go into various countries, actually, what we want to get is there are some target species for each country. That is there. You can go to various groups of birders who have gone there before. You can get that list of target species, and you have to talk to the guide about how you want to get those target species. Some of them you will get, some of them you may not get. So you have to have that list. And the guides are the people who will know how the birds interact in all these places. You can't just go there and expect to get good shots of a good number of birds, especially when you're traveling so much, it's expensive. And to stay there, all these things. So just do your homework properly.
Yes, I would like to answer this question, Ranjini. See, for example, if I'm going to Masai Mara or any new places, what I will do, I will download checklist of the particular place. Okay, right. Maybe 100, 200 pictures. So before going, of course, like Dr. Joe was mentioning, the guide will be there, the local guide will be there, but he will be telling this is the owlet, this is a falcon. But you have to see, you know, how it looks. So before going, what I will do, I will check with internet or any bird guidebook how the falcon, bed falcon, example bed falcon, how it will look. So I will get an idea. As soon as the guide say falcon, then I can see it's a falcon. Otherwise, even the guide was telling, I will be looking around the trees where falcon. So before going, this is a homework, everyone. Subject knowledge is very important. What are how many species you are going to shoot, and the habitat also. So the habitat where it's available and when is the best time. So usually everyone knows who is into wildlife photography. 3 months before you have to book your local guide. Even if the local guide is available, then only we will make a plan. If he is busy, then we have to postpone. Without local guide, it's very tough. But our practice is also very important. How the bird looks, habitat, everything. This is the homework we have to do. Otherwise, everyone is having a camera. It doesn't mean people think after having long lenses, camera, that I can come with good photograph. It's not like that. You have to do a lot of homework. You have to do a lot of subject knowledge.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. So last question. Yeah. In this age, a lot of images are being taken and processed for Instagram. What will be your advice to upcoming photographers, Mrs. Rathika ji?
Yeah, actually, it depends on the what type of genre you want to practice. Okay, the actual people started wildlife photography when I started. We had to take as it is. We had to show the wild habitat, everything as it is. That is a documentation. Of course, that even habitats art also we have to take aesthetically strong composed photograph, so that it comes later on. We can print or any book or print and all. Then we can print out also. It looks very good. But the processing part, it depends how much you want. Actual wildlife photography, like any documentary photography style photojournalist, we have to do minimal post processing. But there it comes nowadays, even young photographers, everyone, the creative nature wildlife photography. So they're exploring post processing. Adobe is a master. Okay, you take photograph and you do low key. You can do low key background, or you can do low key or high key. You are playing with other filters, everything. Then it's perfectly fine. If it's there, they want to see as a nature, as an artist, art. Okay, so they can do post processing as the heavy as thing, but they have to mention it's a modified. Okay, right. For creating sort and all. We can see, as soon as we can see, this is a heavy post processing. So it's a different genre. Okay, for me, but for me, I do subtle way of post processing. I am still in the old way of documentary style wildlife photographer. It depends on the taste of the photographer, what purpose he is doing. But most of the scientific purpose, other field gained and all, no, we want less post processing. Okay, of course, if you are applying international contest and all, no, they want to see your raw file. So how much post processing you are going to do, it depends on you. If it's heavy post processing, you have to mention. And still, international contest and all, they won't allow heavy post processing. They do the normal general post steps only they will allow. So it depends on the how you want to be present as a photographer. It's a personal taste. It's a subjective actually.
Perfect, ma'am.
Yeah.
I have one last question from Satyajit.
Yeah, yes.
Great photos and session, very informative. I would like to know which are the best places for bird photography in monsoon season in India.
Rathika ji.
Monsoon, you can go Satal or Tatakad, but monsoon you will get less species or numbers of birds only you will get. I usually go July and all. Tatakad is the best place to get the rainy shots. And Satal is also you can visit, but monsoon, I think we have very few choices.
Yeah.
Okay.
Night also is not very conducive. And
Yeah. Yes.
You have to take care of your equipment. You know, you can't get rain.
Yeah. That we have to carry raincoat and all. No? And Dr. Joe, really thank you. Today we have in the interesting session. Just virtually we did Ethiopia, other places, LRK and all. No? And listening other stories also, other than photo, how the people everything. No, that is also very interesting, Joe. Thank you for coming today and sharing your experience. I hope like hobby photographers like you, others and all, no, seeing your pictures, we are inspired, and it's a visual treat only. After lockdown and all, we are missing national parks, and so we are seeing your photographs really inspired me also. Really, I enjoyed. Thank you everyone who joined. We had great, actually 150 people registered, and we have great response today. Thank you everyone for doing poll also. And please do join next weekend, Saturday and Sunday. Saturday, we are going to have Miss Lakshmi Pichaimani see the light. To see the light, she's going to talk about light. And I already saw her PPT, and I'm so impressed. Okay, I can't wait to watch her next weekend. And we have Sunday, Mr. Panduranga Pakale. He is a forest range officer. He is going to share his experience as a wildlife photographer. See, we are visiting once in a while, but Mr. Panduranga is inside the forest. He has been posted in Kana and Panna and all. So we are going to have insight of forest officers through wildlife photography. Please do join us next weekend. Hope everyone will be coming, and please register also. If any of you students here, and we have a line of workshops are coming up, do check our Facebook, do join our Facebook and Instagram pages. Thank you everyone, and be safe. Though the lockdown is eased out, still we have to be very careful, and please take care of everyone. Have a good evening. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, ma'am.
Bye.